Hiya, welcome to LSB Feasters radio channel where we keep great radio from the past alive. And today we're actually going to feature something a little different. It's a TV show, a local Philly kid show. There was a time back in the 50s and 60s and into the 70s when local TV stations would have their own kid show. They would have some type of a host, maybe a ship's captain, maybe a pirate, maybe just a girl in tights, whatever it was. Bozo was another one in Chicago and many other cities. In Philadelphia, we had a guy named Captain Noah hosting his show, Captain Noah and his Magical Ark. This show ran from the late 60s until the mid-90s. So if you don't know what it was like to watch local kids TV back in the day, here you go. Captain Noah and his Magical Ark on WPVI-TV, Channel 6, Philadelphia.
Steady as she goes, on the starboard, it's Captain Noah and his Magical Ark, all aboard!
Come on, Wally. You know you can't fly.
Well, maybe I can learn how. I'll tell you, I sort of fly when I'm under the water. You would call that flying, Maurice?
No, I wouldn't call that flying. I'd call that swimming. That's not flying, but you've got your goggles on.
You like them? Maybe I could. Bonjour, Captain.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, Maurice. Don't tell me, Maurice, that you're trying out for TWA again.
Yes, I thought maybe they'd take me this time.
I thought the last time you didn't do too well.
Well, there's always a second chance.
I thought those two front teeth of yours kept getting in the way of the microphone.
No, I'm going to talk out of the side of my mouth.
Oh, like that? You know,
Right.
I don't know. I think it would be very hard on the passengers to have a mouse walk out and say, "I'm your pilot."
They're not going to see me. I'm just going to go over the microphone and go, "This is your pilot talking."
Oh, you're not going to... You know who that sounds like?
Who does that sound
That sounds
like?
like Captain Nicholas, the way you did that. Very authoritative.
Very professional.
Who are you flying for, Wally?
This is the Last Chance airline.
What kind of plane are you using?
Well, I think it's a biplane.
You think you can fly, huh?
Well, I
Just
try.
because Wally has flippers, he thinks he can fly. Do you think he can fly? Huh? Just because he thinks he flies under the... Well, let me see you flap your flippers. I don't think you'll even get off the ground. Oh, come on, that's enough, Wally. No, God made certain things to fly in the air. He might have created a walrus to be able to fly underneath the sea, but he sure didn't create him to fly in the air. He went to a lot of trouble, though, to create things that could fly in the air, called birds. No, God had a very special purpose about things flying in the air. Let's take a look on Captain Noah's magic picture board at the things that God created to fly. There it is. It's a bird. And a bird is a most extraordinary thing, very unusual and very unique. You know, God gave birds hollow bones to make them light so that they could fly in flight. And a very strange and wondrous system between muscles and brain that could make his wings mobile, his tail to cause him direction in flight. You know, if he didn't have feathers, he'd be too heavy to even get off the ground. And so God put light feathers on hollow, light bones with leading edge and secondary feathers and a steering column in the back called a tail. Yeah, he even gave him the strange overcoating of a reptile upon his feet so that he could rise in the sky. No, Wally the Walrus was made to go underneath the water, but the bird in flight was created in God's strange wonder for a very specific purpose. Right, Chris?
Yes, sir. I'll tell you. You want to talk to a flyer, you know. You
You're
don't
a
talk
flyer.
to Wally the Walrus.
No.
He's too heavy.
Chris
Yeah.
the Crow.
Right. Christopher Columbus Crow. I'm a good flyer, and I make a lot of speed, and I discover things and all that. Right?
Yeah,
Right.
there must be some secret to flight.
Am I allowed to tell secrets?
Well, I think we ought to share it with
All right.
somebody. And
You'd like me to tell you?
right.
All right. Like you take your head and you go. You stretch
Oh, you
it
lift
way
your
up.
head.
Right.
I noticed you got your beak up.
Right. All
Right, yeah.
Ready for takeoff. And then I get the wings going. And then you have to go. Zoom, 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 zoom. Right. Yeah, I think you're losing me. Oh, dear. Can I land
It
here?
is. It's exhausting.
Yeah, well, once I get up there, I can glide a little bit. And then I just spread my wings out and go.
Isn't that wonderful?
You see, I can glide.
It's wonderful, isn't it, that God has caused the birds to fly? And how about man? It's as if God gave man a kind of a wondrous gift that he'd be able to think and create and kind of in his own way become like a bird in flight by man. And with people like Captain Mario Nicholas of Trans World Airlines. Captain, so nice to have you on board. Gee, it's nice to have you here again today. Where have you been since we saw you last?
Well, I've been to quite a few places here in the United States, Phoenix, Albuquerque, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, and many, many other cities.
It's amazing, isn't it, that even though God gave the natural ability to birds to fly, that you're able to go up into the air through the miracle of man. Is this how we first began, Captain?
That's right. That's the Wright brothers airplane. The very beginning of flight was with this airplane, and it's very interesting to note that when the Wright brothers flew this airplane, the length of the flight itself was not quite as long as the length of this airplane.
Isn't that amazing that this first ship that the Wright brothers took into the sky didn't go as far as the length of a modern airplane? This could carry but one, or did it carry two?
Well, that's right. The seat was right here. He sat right here on the wing, and they didn't have many comforts in those days.
Isn't it interesting, though, how much it is built like a bird?
That's exactly right. I couldn't help but think that when I was watching you
How
describe the
about that?
bird.
So we have learned by what God provides. Now this is a little bit more modern. This is the TWA what?
This is the 747.
Oh, this is the 747. You've heard, I'm sure, about the 747. How many people will it hold in there, Captain? Do you have any idea?
Around 350.
Wow. Imagine that, to a day when one man could sit on the first airplane, and that's been not too many years ago.
That's right.
And we've come a long way. Now, how far will this fly?
Well, this is capable of flying up to 10,000 miles. So it can go anywhere that a 707 can go. It's got a lot of range. It carries as much fuel as the 707 weighs, 300,000 pounds.
How about up in here? This is where you sit, right? Up here in the front?
That's right. This is the cockpit on the third level.
All right, now up in here, how many people are up in the cockpit?
3 people.
3 people. 2 pilots and...
Well, there are 3 pilots, 2 acting as pilots and 1
Right.
a flight engineer.
I see. And then is there room up here for people too? Huh?
Yes, there's a lounge right over here in this area. There's a lounge for passengers to go up there
How
and
about
get
that?
comfortable.
Boy, TWA certainly put an awful lot into an airplane, don't they?
Well, yes, sir.
How do you like flying for TWA?
Well, very much.
Are they
Very,
as
very
great
much.
an outfit as we understand?
They certainly are.
How about? Well, we sure appreciate you coming in from your very busy flight schedule to visit us on board the Ark and show us how the miracle of God has gone from birds in the sky to men upon the earth. I hope you'll come back and visit us again.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Captain.
you, Captain.
Thank you.
How about that? The wonders of the world. Here's the old Earth, and we just saw on that 747 from TWA how we could span the globe.
I know where I want to go. Now, wait a minute, let me see. No, you passed it. You passed it.
Back? Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Right there.
There.
Oh,
Yeah, that's where I want to go.
France
No.
and England.
England. Yes, I want to go visit Pam.
Visit Pam
Yeah, I
in
do
England.
too.
And also to go visit in France would be fun too.
Oui,
Imagine.
oui, monsieur.
Oh.
Bonjour.
Bound away. You forgot bound away.
That's wonderful. So we would go to visit in London. We'd hop on our 747 and a strange and wonderful world unfolds whenever we travel. And we'd like you to travel with us in your very own room because we'd like to share with you a little bit, perhaps, of the wonders of the world. Just imagine if we were able to fly like a bird upon a plane to some place upon this earth. And let's say we settled down in Canterbury or upon the Thames and visited there. You'd find in every hall and castle the flags of heraldry. And we'd like to share with you how you can make your very own herald's flag at home. Look, all we need is a little bit of paper, just like this. It's so easy to make. Let's take a piece of paper and show you how it begins. We take a piece of paper and a pen or pencil, and 3 inches from the bottom, but that's not important, to the center of the paper, I draw a line. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of the paper. From a point here, across the paper, a line. Now, this is what it looks like when you begin to make your heraldic shield. That's all there is to it. And then I'm going to take my scissors and cut out the shield, just like this. There, you can do that. I know that'll be no trouble for you to do at home. And now I cut it across this way. And look at what I've begun. I've begun my own heraldic flag. Do you want to make it interesting? You can make it interesting by taking other colors of paper. Look at what Captain Noah's done. I've taken a deeper color, green, and begun to border my heraldic flag. Look, for instance, if you don't want to use paper, it's just as easy to use a little bit of tape, and you can take tape and put along the edges of your heraldic flag, and lo and behold, you can make different designs in your flag. Instead of cutting up, you can cut down. Now, once we have a heraldic flag such as this, let's take a piece of wood. Oh, you can use a piece of dowel if Daddy has it. If not, you can take a plain stick and peel the bark off and attach it with tape to the top, and you'll have your very own heraldic flag. Gosh, there's no trouble to make something like that at all. And then look at what you can do. Take your piece of wood and hook a string to it, and your flag will begin to hang. See what we have done? We've put a friend's name on there. Oh, maybe you could put Mother or Daddy. Maybe you could put the name of your school or of your church. And then something that stands for the person or the school or the church. This is a flag we made for little Gene McCurdy, and he sells peanuts for the Kiwanis, so we put peanuts on his flag. And here's from another little friend of ours, little Georgie Kohler, and he likes automobiles, so we've made an automobile on his flag. And then our little listener, little Louis Klein. Little Louis is always on the telephone, so we put a telephone on his flag. So you can make all kinds of banners and heraldic symbols, and And maybe you can put them up in your very own room. Or maybe you can give them as a gift. Wouldn't this be a wonderful gift for Daddy? Maybe Daddy, for instance, is a doctor, or maybe he runs a lathe, or maybe he runs a jackhammer in the street, and you could cut it out and put it in the middle of his flag, and he would have his very own heraldic flag. So we can visit all parts of the world and share in the parts of the world in all the things that we do. And remember, no matter what you do, to clean up your trash. I don't want you to leave anything around for little Mumsy. No, not at all.
Captain.
Hi, bonjour, Mumwup. How are you today?
I'm hungry. How do you say that?
You're always
In any
hungry.
language, I'm
Huh?
hungry.
You're always hungry.
Right. I got anything for...
There's a little bit of paper.
Got it.
Got it?
I've got it.
Oh, you can
I've
leave
got
go. You can leave go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did he say goodbye? Mumwup.
Au revoir.
Oh, good. How about that? How about Mumwup? He travels quite a bit, you know. You find Mumwups all over. And isn't it nice to know that as we travel over the face of this old earth that God has known, by the pleasure of his company, even as the birds in the sky, that we can not only find the heraldry in an English castle or dining hall, but share in the languages of the earth. Oh, there are so many places that you and I can go. Would you like to go with me to Versailles on the magic carpet of space and time? Here we are at Versailles. Yes, what a wonderful place it is. Because here in the castle of Versailles, boys and girls walk with mother and daddy in families. And families are so important, particularly to all of us on board the Ark, that as they walk in families hand in hand up there by the palace of the kings and the queens, so we, as we go around the world in our TWA 747, share in this great wonder of a family, like Mommy and Daddy. You know, Daddy might be getting ready to go to work and keep the wolf from howling at the door, and kissing baby goodbye, and little baby in all the world is the same as family. Oh, the wonder of families. And that's why in French we share so many different things, because in family, I want you to learn to travel around the world and by family. Here's a new word, ma mère. That means my mother. And mon père. That means my father. Hey, how about surprising Dad and Mother? Would you do that and speak to them in French? Ma mère, my mother. Mon père, mine father. Ma mère, mon père. We've already learned bonjour, so really surprise them. Bonjour, ma mère. Hello, my mother. Bonjour, mon père. Hello, my father. Good day to the family. And so we circle the globe in wondrous awe. Do you know what it's like to be inside a plane? How many of you have ever been right inside of an airplane? Would you like to be inside of an airplane? We're going to take you in your imagination on board our Ark, right inside that 747 with Mrs. Noah and our dear friends Mary Worth and also little Kathy right now.
How exciting to be here on the airplane. Hi, and what's your name?
Kathy Worth.
Kathy Worth. And what do you do on board this marvelous airplane?
Oh, I serve meals and I make sure everybody's comfortable and they have everything that they need and they want on board the aircraft.
Well, I'm pretty comfortable. Oh, here comes the
Time
captain.
to get on. Here we are.
Here we are.
Oh
Yes, indeed
my
we are.
goodness. Oh, excuse me. Hi, Donna.
Hello, Captain.
How are you today? What is this, a big project that will this keep me off the ground?
Well,
Donna,
let's
it's so
see if
nice
we
to
can-
fly with you again.
It's nice to see you again, too, Captain Miller.
And Mary?
Kathy.
Kathy. Did I say Kathy? Well, when I get up this high in the air, my brain is boggles the mind.
Captain Noah,
Yes.
would you mind if I go see about Maurice and Wally? I just want to check them out, okay? I'll be back.
You're going to leave me here all alone?
I don't know if I should. They're awfully pretty, but I will.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
Donna, how long have you been hostessing?
Well, it was less than a year, Captain.
Less than a year.
Yes.
Where did you go to?
Well, I went to Kansas City for training, and it was 6 weeks. And then from there, I went to Chicago, where I was based.
How about that? Why do we have to put on a seatbelt?
Well, I think the seatbelt is just like the one in your car. It keeps you from moving in any direction, and just like in your car, when you stop fast, then you stay just where you are, and the seatbelt holds you there.
How about that? Do you think being a hostess is a profession that you would recommend for a little girl just growing up?
Definitely.
How many places have you visited? Name some of the cities that you've gone to.
Oh, well, outside of the United States, I've been to Paris and London, Hong Kong, Hawaii, just a few of them that I've been to.
What do you have to do to become a hostess?
Well, right now, the requirements, you have to be 20 years old, you have to be a high school graduate, and have 2 years of college or 2 years of work experience.
And you feel that this is something that maybe a little girl that's looking in today could tickle her imagination to be?
Oh, certainly, I'm sure of it.
Would you have traded your year as a hostess for anything, Donna?
No, I wouldn't. No, I had a wonderful time traveling. I really did.
You know, the interesting thing to me is that the birds that fly, that God created, that taught us all about flight, they couldn't take any people with them. But we've learned already that upon a ship, over 300 people can fly, with very sweet and lovely gals to tend them, and the pilot strong and firm above and ahead to see the course is steady and firm. But you know, for all the travel we do and all the wonder of this earth, as grand as TWA our journey makes, it's still good to get home and go out to the garden and see Penny tending her sweet potato plant.
My darling, it's just beautiful. I certainly have had a lot of luck with this particular plant. Look how far down it goes there, children. You see, if you just buy a sweet potato at the grocery store and put the pointy end down and a few toothpicks in it there to keep it from falling, keep plopped down in the water, you'll have a beautiful sweet... bonjour, Captain.
Gorgeous, 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 Penny.
I do like my sweet potato.
Yeah.
I was just telling the children all about what you do with the sweet potato plant.
It's
you give it a little
beautiful.
water and you put it in the windowsill and so forth.
You know, isn't it wonderful that for all the things that we do way up in the sky,
Yes.
the miracle of God is still the extraordinary thing.
It's just amazing, Captain. I put that plain old ordinary sweet potato down in there, and pretty soon the little old bitty roots started coming in the bottom, and then the leaves started popping out until it's just beautiful. You can watch it every day.
And you can have your very own sweet potato garden just like Penny does. All you need is a sweet potato. Put it in a container, a jar. Make sure that it gets plenty of water and has light. Make sure that the pointed end of the potato is always down. Make sure the pointed end is always down. And pretty soon you'll have your very own sweet potato garden growing right in your own room. And we tell you that because, you know, a lot of times boys and girls don't grow things because they think you ought to have a farm or a big backyard. But it really doesn't matter. If you live in the city, if you only have a little walk-up flat or a big apartment, isn't it wonderful that you can share the mystery of God by having your very own sweet potato plant wherever you are? How about growing your very own sweet potato plant and have a garden just like Miss Penny?
I think that would be just marvelous. Mail call, get your mail here.
What? Listen,
Why?
wait a
Why?
minute, wait a minute.
Listen,
Chris,
you talk
you have
about
to come right up behind me every
didn't scare
time
you,
like
did
that?
Did I scare you?
My
I'm
goodness
sorry
gracious.
about that, Chief. You know,
Right,
but I had
right up behind every time.
right behind you. Yes, sir. I had a big
You
mail
pilots are all the same.
You're
You and
comparing me
Captain
to
Nicholas.
right to a real life pilot. That's what you're doing, are
Telling
you?
you.
Yeah, are you? Well, I don't mind. I think he's pretty handsome.
Oh, I'm telling you, Chris.
Yeah.
You know, the wonderful thing is when you talk about distances, is the distance that everybody on board Captain Noah's Ark comes from.
Yeah, we do.
Because you have to bring this mail quite a distance.
All over. Look, did you see all those pretty pictures I got?
No, but we're going to take a look at them right now.
All righty.
Right on board
Right.
Captain Noah's picture gallery. And right over here, starting at Marvin's Magic Mark, is some of the pictures of our Ark that you sent in to us here from way up there in Altoona. On WFBG is our friend David Frank with his Captain Noah's Ark sailing upon the sea. And from Binghamton, New York, that's up around Depew where Desiree Fisher lives, this pretty picture of a canary or a parakeet in its cage. And over here, here's Penny the Penguin and her sweet potato plant from Christopher Schmigel. And he watches over at WKBW up there in Buffalo. And here's Maurice the Mouse from Stuart Anderson, who watches over WTVD down there in Durham. And here's Kyle Brown's ship from WKJG out there in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And the new call letters that Robert Fife used for our station in Fresno, California is KFSN. And here he has the two giraffes. And Gay Jenkins from WSAZ up in Huntington. And they have sent in a picture of the turtle. And here from Stephanie Idle from High Point, North Carolina, WHPE-TV. And Darlene Hare from WLYH up there in Lebanon. A beautiful picture. And here the whales and the whole gang on board the Ark from Hillary Welliver from WTNH-TV up there in New Haven. And Sharon Godshall from WPVI-TV here in Philadelphia. Thank you, little Sharon. And Terry Booty from WSMW in Worcester, Massachusetts. And here from David Foreman up there in Warren that watches over WSBA. Travel the world around, but there's no place like home. And that's what the story tells us when we look it up in the good book. And here's a story that you can read in your very own Bible concerning the pleasure to get home. It tells of a man that had two sons. There in the middle is the youngest son, and to the far side, the eldest. The youngest son wanted to have everything that should come to him, and he persuaded his father to divide everything that would come to him of a day. And his father gave him half of his estate. Oh my goodness, all that money he had. He went out and had a wonderful time, and everybody was his friend, and he threw the money hither and yon until at last he had none left. A beggar he might be, until at last he received a job. Imagine that. He had to take care of the pigs in a sty. And for a little boy of Israeli background, this was a very difficult thing indeed. And he found out that he was eating the things that the pigs ate, so poor was he. And he dreamed, oh, wouldn't it be wonderful to be back home again, that he could bring his father to forgive. And so began the long trail home. How burdened he was with what he had done, but to come from foreign lands to see his father, who loved him and brought him home, how wonderful it was to know that he was welcome there. And that's the way it is, you see. We might travel the land around, but it's always good to come home. And so as we sail the skies with our friends from TWA, we know the wonder that man has made, and for you, the glory of today.